Hey everybody, Karyn Bryant here with
Angela Overkill Hill.
and welcome to What Had Happened
was.
What Had Happened Was.
Look at us synchronized.
Yeah, look at us synchronized and with a whole fresh new look. We kind of leveling up a little bit. We promised you guys that we were going to be trying to make some improvements here, little by little. The two of us are getting it together.
Good job, Karyn. Good job, Karyn. Yeah, whipping out your graphic design degree. Cheers.
Yeah, hardly.
No, you did great, man. I feel like I wouldn't have done much better with all my 4 years of art school. This is amazing. I'm so happy. I feel so fancy in this little box.
Yeah. I know. I'm actually legit excited about it too. No, I think that my I'm not even kidding. I know for a fact my creativity lately has just been really good. I've just, made some changes in my life and I'm just like feeling much more positive about a lot of things. But also, my daughter is a really good artist. And so
I've seen
draws all the time, right? So she kind of has me kind of tapping into that side of me, and I kind of joke with her that all I ever used to draw was like stick figures, like flowers and something. But the other day I was doodling while I was at work writing my scripts for the shows, and I drew a fist. And I was like, I think that's actually pretty good. And I took a picture of it. I was like, hey kid, what's this? And she's like, oh my God, that was such a good fist. I was like, yes, I actually made one. So, yeah. But you're such a good artist too. So I know you're going to whip up some, what had happened was like graphics for us and we get some merch going.
Yeah, right? Yeah, we got to get everything. We got to get the merch. We got to get the graphics. We got to get the pan in. Like, what happened was pans across and then sparkles and then, like fireworks. And then like it appears, a guest appears, like a really famous one because we're so cool that everyone wants to be on our show. Like, yeah, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Stay tuned, people.
That's right. And actually this weekend, I came up with this really ridiculous idea, like while I was trying to write my scripts, this really funny thing. So I actually went and filmed a bunch of funny stuff with Bilal in Vegas. So that's something that I'm going to be cutting together. And if I can implement my vision, it will be great. You know what I mean? Like I have big ideas. If it comes out even like halfway as good as I hope it will, it could be very, very funny. So,
sure.
I'm working on that too.
Well, if you need any help editing, let me know. Holla at you, girl. I got a little.
Awesome. Very
I'm
good.
alright at it. I'm alright.
Yeah,
I use my iPhone, but
that's right. Nice.
Okay.
Nice. Hey, well, so we were working. We had middleweight fights. Jared Cannonier, Kelvin Gastelum. Jared Cannonier was number 3 going into this fight against number 9 Kelvin Gastelum. He got the win. Jared got the win. It was a really close fight, I thought. And the thing that's so tough with Kelvin, people, yes, his record is kind of rough right now, but he's only losing to the top people because he only fights basically top 5 people. And it's not like he gets blown out of the water. It's not like, the Hermanson thing was a fast, leg lock or whatever. But he has these great fights with them. They just don't go his way, kind of like somebody else I know. Cough, cough. Cough, cough. And I feel bad when people are bagging on him because you're like, dude, he's still only 29 years old. Like, he still has a lot of time to do a lot of great things because he's already done a lot of great things.
For sure. It's like, you're like, not like someone I know, but hey, I look 29. I definitely feel for him. He's always been right there. And, it's one of those things where I honestly feel like if you just keep working, if you don't let the naysayers, don't let the haters, don't let, whatever negative energy or negative influence in your life affect you, and you just keep striving towards that goal, keep on your mission to gold,
Yeah, right.
I feel like it'll eventually happen. Like either everyone else phases out, they lose interest. If you're still passionate about your goal and you're that good, if you're as good as Kelvin Gastelum, like I still remember how close his fight was with Adesanya. His fight last night was very close as well. I did think that, you know, it was a clear win for Cannonier, but it wasn't like the last round happened and he was out of the fight, you know, like it was, you're still on the edge of your seat, still waiting for someone to really like take it. So yeah, he's such a good fighter, and I hope that, you know, he just doesn't lose faith in himself, because if anything, that's the thing that can hurt a fighter who is right there, right at the top, always fighting the top talent, and just narrowly like missing it, like just losing faith in yourself. That's the only thing that can affect him negatively, because he's still in a good position. He's still fighting the best. He's still putting on exciting fights. He was the one pushing the pressure, you know, so it's not like you give him another fighter and it's going to be boring. Like, he's always in there trying to make it entertaining, trying to get that win, trying to get that knockout. So yeah, as long as he has faith in himself, he'll continue to thrive.
Yeah, and I like him so much. You know, he's somebody that I met kind of early on in his UFC career, because we used to go down and film at Rain Training Center and King's MMA a lot. And so, and everybody knows, you know, how much I love the Kings guys. And so I really root for Kelvin, and I have absolutely, Jared's a good dude, and he came to the desk with us, and I'll get into that in a second. But yeah, I just think Kelvin is just so tough, because they're such close fights. And like you said, you know, with the Adesanya, like, if he hadn't gone for that takedown, like, it could be a totally different story right now. Mm-hmm. You know, it's just close fight with Till, close fights, you know, all the time. So I too hope that he doesn't get discouraged, and when he does say, excuse me, he does say the right things, social media wise. You know, he puts out messages about, you know, just a couple little tweaks here and there, and I feel like we're real close, and you know, all that. And so I really do hope that's what he really believes, because it does. I believe it too. You know what I mean? And I do think, yes, Jared won the fight. I don't think it was, you know, oh my God, like I didn't think that Kelvin won the fight, but I think that it was a very good fight from him. And I think, like, yeah, it's just got to be frustrating to know that you put out a great performance like that. You're not getting your butt handed to you. You still have never been finished. Like, your jaw is made of who knows what. Yeah, you kind of got, you know, like there was a couple of little like bink, and then, you know, he was right back up, and so it was no harm, no foul, really. But Jared, on the flip side, you know, I feel like we can't just talk about what Kelvin didn't do. You know, Jared was, patient and methodical, and you can tell that he does have a lot of power in there, and ended up being the one that, just kind of was landing the bigger shots. And I forget what the significant count was, but I think he was, you know, ahead on that.
Yeah, for sure. He put on a really just a strategic fight. Whenever you see someone kind of backing up and waiting for the perfect shot, but still landing more volume, then you know that person's game plan is just kind of working a little better than the others. Yeah. Because a lot of times fighters can get stuck in this like pressuring game plan, like, I'm going to pressure them, I'm going to, you know, corner them, and I'm going to hit them. The same thing happened to me in my last fight. And it's interesting when a fighter is able to still score more, still land more on the back foot. So I think Cannonier was really smart in his approach, especially because he knows how dangerous Kelvin is. Like, he respected his game, you know, he knew that he had to evade and get out of the way and keep him at a distance, even if he pressured forward, not getting like a brawl with Kelvin. So I think it was a really smart game plan. And now he gets to move on to the next guy, and, you know, he's ranked so high up there already, and Adesanya already was like, hey, I fight Cannonier because he's cool, you know. So it's like, all right, well, you know, who's next for him? Who knows? It could be it could be a title fight. So we'll see what happens with Cannonier. But I think it was a really, really smart fight. And I kind of feel like we haven't really seen all of his tricks, you know. Like, I feel like he's keeping his cards pretty close to his what do you call it? Close to the vest. Close to the vest. I'm like, what is this?
To the cup.
Close to the cup. Away from the eyeglasses.
Well, yeah, because it's funny because it was Alan felt a little bad. Like, there was a moment where he's like, I hope Jared wasn't mad, or maybe it was, I forget, Bilal asked the question, but like, there was something where there was the intimation that, you know, wrestling is a weak spot for Jared. And because maybe we had seen that in the past, was that something that, he's cognizant of? And is that something that he's working on? And, you could kind of tell that he was like, oh, you think wrestling's my weak spot? Oh, okay.
Okay.
That, that he is keeping some things close to the vest. Like, go ahead and keep believing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go ahead and sleep on me. Like, that's cool. Go ahead.
For sure.
Sleep and find out,
For sure.
And so, coming up we have Till versus Brunson. I'm sorry, by the way, I'm in love with that Brunson meme. I'm just like sticking.
It's so silly. I love it too. With his big bally shoulder.
Every time, Brunson. It's so good. Whoever came up with that.
Dude, I saw the photo and that's immediately what I thought of. Before the meme, I saw the photo of him standing there and I'm like, why does he look like a fucking action figure? Like, like he looks so just stiff and stiff and brolic. Like he looks like he's posed up in a little plastic box with Mattel on it,
So good.
It's so funny.
Is he gonna go? He's going Blonde Brunson though, right? Because Blonde Brunson don't care.
Blonde Brunson is undefeated. Blonde Brunson is about to he's about to take over. It's that Cisco effect.
It is honestly not for nothing. That's a tough fight for Darren. Like Brunson's good.
Yeah. If he shaved his hair, maybe it would be a little easier.
Yeah, right. Well, so with Jared, there's the winner of Brunson Till coming up, and then basically we've already said that Whitaker's going to get the shot, which he should get, I think. But so Jared, was saying that okay, maybe he'll wait, and so this is bad because all these people are really kind of jumped on it. Where at the end, where he's like, well, DC asked him, well, will you take another fight? He's like, well, I'm broke. So I guess I really need to fight, and everybody all over social media was jumping on him about being broke and oh, that's so bad about the state of the payment and everything about fighters. And I thought that was kind of rough. But then I was thinking to myself, I was like, well, a lot of people are broke because of COVID and all this anyway. And I know he unfortunately broke his arm, and I know he had to pay a lot of treatment, and I think he moved his family, and it sucks. It sucks. But I was like, oh, I felt bad that him saying that brought all kinds of negative attention, where I don't really think that was the point he was trying to make in that moment, and it became the storyline, and it's no, that I think that the storyline got hijacked from him with people focusing on that instead.
Yeah, I think I don't think he's trying to do that. No fighter is talking about fighter pay who wants to get paid.
Right.
That's for sure.
Right.
That's for sure.
Right.
But I get that, man. When I was in Invicta, I got an opportunity for a short notice fight. It was 5 days notice or something. And I won, and I was stoked. And they had me in the post fight little interview, and they're like, "Are you happy that you won? Tell us how you feel." I was like, "Yeah, I'm stoked, especially because taxes are coming up. Right. They're about to take all the money that I made last year. I'm stoked that I got something to pay off my taxes. I was so worried about that. It's a real thing. People have real life, and I feel like the people who criticize don't have real bills. They don't have families, and they don't have
that's what I'm saying. I know people
bills
I don't want to sound like people be like, oh, KB, you're the company shill, but yes, I do work for the UFC. That's my employee, and yes, I make a good living, but I don't make as much as you guys think I make, and I would love to make more money too. And but I think in my terms, because also the other thing is when we say you're broke, a lot of times when I'm like, oh man, I'm broke. I'm not really broke. Broke's also relative, right? So we don't know what Jared's broke is. We don't know what baseline broke is for him. So broke for him might just mean I have to put off getting that new Range Rover till next year. I don't know. You know what I mean? But again, I'm not trying to say that it isn't the case that I would love it if we all got more. I would love it if we all got more. But it's an investment in you. And it's same thing happened to Misha now, right? Because Misha had to put out this whole statement because she had done this thing where she said, okay, basically, UFC paid me $200,000 or something. And after yada, 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 I didn't have anything left. And then she put out a whole thing. I should read it here where I don't know if you saw it, where she's like, hey, I just want to explain to everybody. I wanted to look and feel my very best for my comeback. So I spent the money on myself. I invested in myself. And I'm happy that I had the money to spend, and I would do it all over again. You know what I mean? And so she's like, please don't keep judging me for how I spent my money. I'm a professional athlete.
Yeah, and she looked great. So who's to judge her, you know? Like, who's to judge her? Even if she looked like shit. Be like, hey, she went in there. She made it to the fucking fight, you know? Like, sometimes you need to pay a little extra for your therapist, for your nutritionist, for all the people that are going to get you to that fight, aside from your coach. It's not just on your coach, you know? Like, there's a lot that goes into just showing up. And good for her, knowing that she needed to fill that void and spending the money and having the money to spend it and get there. Like, I wish more fighters would do that. You know, I hate when people use the bare minimum just because that's all they can afford. And it happens a lot, especially like when you get the new signees, they're either being loyal or they just don't have the money yet to get the training that they need to be competitive with higher level athletes. So it's like, it's just kind of the grind of the game, and it would be great to get paid more. But I think Cannonier was just trying to say, like, yeah, I can't afford to sit out.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I mean too. Yeah. But you know, at least now too, if you can get to Vegas, like if you can get yourself to the Apex, the Apex is there for young fighters, right? And like if you're there and you're on the roster, I thought initially from the beginning that like food was comped, and you know there was different things there as long as you found a place to stay or that they had it for cheap. And so that is something that is some good access. But yeah, I mean, at some point, you know, you have to. Everybody has to do it. It's basically like if you're any kind of entrepreneur. You know, I had to invest a lot of money in getting, you know, my own company off the ground to learn to cover MMA and stuff like that. Like, that wasn't free. I had to invest in the equipment and learning how to do things and investing in the trips to go to the places, to fly to the events, to cover the things. And it's an investment in your own career. Like, it costs money.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Leave him alone. Leave Jared alone. He just wants another fight. Leave him alone. It's always nice to have a security blanket, a nice little cushion to land on.
Because I hope, I just feel like he's probably like, I wasn't trying to make up a statement about that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, give me a good fight. Give me a good fight. Okay, so
please don't. Never.
Yeah, please don't. Yeah, please don't. Hey, Sue, did you think? I know we're gonna go somewhere really bad with that. So
it's the whiskey.
I'm having red wine, but yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what you thought in the co-main event with Clay Guida and Marco Madsen.
Okay.
Clay was a little hot about that. Clay definitely thought that he won.
It was close.
It was close.
I thought the right guy won.
I thought the right guy won too.
Yeah, it was close, but it's the kinetic energy and the fact that that's gotten him a lot of wins before. What
do you mean?
Wait, is it the ponytail?
I love Clay though, by the way.
Yeah, he's a good egg. He's a good egg.
It's all about it's nothing but love. I love him.
No, he's a good egg, but like I never expect to win. Like, I almost never expect to win because it takes so much for some reason. If it's a close fight, it takes so much for me to have a dominant fight on the scorecards. And I think when people do get those wins, when it's a close fight, when they get them in succession, then they expect it. They expect the win. They expect the guy to raise their hand. Like when Claudia Gadelha fought Zhang Yan, it went to decision. It was pretty obvious to all the viewers that she lost, but because she was just coming off of a controversial decision win, she was very surprised. She was very surprised that she didn't get the win. So I think that might have had something to do with it. Just past experiences. This was enough to get the win, and then he moves a lot. I don't think anyone really got like messed up in the fight, and so a lot of times when you have a fight like that where no one really got like dropped or cut or bruised up, then it's hard to really put a winner on the fight, but I felt like Madsen, right? I felt like he did enough. I felt like he was landing more. I felt like he was more aggressive. I just felt like he landed the cleaner shots, and I felt like the right guy won that fight for sure.
There was also too with Marco Madsen, there was just certain things posture-wise that made him look like he was controlled. There were certain ways sometimes he was sort of like framing him up even, and you could tell that he was looking to get his hands on him because he is a Greco-Roman wrestler. That's something we were talking about a little bit at work for people who don't know the difference. That means there's no holds below the waist. And so there were times when I kind of was surprised that Mark wasn't initiating the clinch more and really trying to go for it, because then I thought he would get control of it. But he was able to get it sometimes, and that was just something that you could tell that he was kind of measuring to get. But I thought that there were times where he landed some really nice strong blows. It's good that his chin can take it, because after his last fight, this poor guy, if people don't know, maybe they did it, but real quickly, not only in his last fight did he break his jaw, but when they did the whole surgery on it or whatever, it got infected or something. So they had to do it again, for his jaw surgery.
No.
His house, they found all kinds of black mold and stuff in his house, and they basically had to tear his house down and rebuild it like slat by slat. His whole house, because it had flooded or something, and so there was all this mold. His poor wife his wife got diagnosed with MS. This poor woman, dude, it's like so. And then he got COVID. He had gotten COVID.
My God.
Dude, no, it's like every terrible thing you can imagine. This poor guy went through it. And so that was the whole thing we were kind of like, quote unquote, joking about at work is, if you saw Clay at the weigh-ins, he shows up with the American flag on the fishing pole and this whole thing. Like, Clay is just so beloved. He's already in the Hall of Fame. Like, nobody doesn't like Clay Guida. We love this guy. And so you're always rooting for Clay. He's, come on. But when you hear Marco Madsen's story, his backstory and everything he went through to get to this fight, you're like, oh my God. This guy's got to get the win, because he said he was fighting to prove to his wife that anything is still possible, and like, don't give up hope. You're like, oh my God, please let this man win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that one was hard. It was hard. It was hard on the heart, and so it was a split decision win for him. It was dramatic. It was a really close fight. I know Clay was a little bit bummed, but I do think the right guy won.
Yeah, I do too, and I mean, if anything, he got extra points for that mustache. That mustache was magnificent.
Wait, he doesn't have a stash.
Oh wait, no, I think
Vince Pichel has the stash.
Pichel. Sorry. I was thinking.
No. Pichel's stash is amazing.
No, Pichel's stash is crazy. Madsen had the shaved head. Sorry,
yeah,
it was too close together. I was like, oh yeah, mustache man.
Yeah, the mustache. No, but also, just lastly on the Madsen thing, he was talking about a fight with Gregor Gillespie, which would be amazing.
Yeah,
because those two are just such great, such great grapplers, and so that could be, the fight basically to find out who's the best grappler in the lightweight division. And so I would love to see that.
That'd be cool. And like sometimes when someone has that much kinetic energy, you don't really want to grab them. So maybe maybe he felt a little intimidated by Clay's just like his bounce, just his aura, and didn't want to grab him and try to waste energy taking him down, where he felt like he was just going to vibrate and get to a position where he could stand back up. Right. So that would be really cool to see him actually use that Olympic level stuff against them.
I know. I think so. Hey, speaking of Olympics, so today on my way back from Vegas, I was on the, I got right from the hotel with one of the refs. So we were there and we were talking, and so we were walking to the airport, and because we were going to be on the same flight. And then he said something. So there's Gable, and I was like, wait, what? He's like, yeah, he's over there. I'm like, yeah, I need to go say hi to him. So I go over there like, hey, Gable, how's it going? I'm like, congratulations. So folks, Gable Stevenson just won the gold medal in wrestling over at the Olympics.
Oh.
So, yeah. So the dude that everybody wants to get in their organization. So he's literally the belle of the ball right now. He was at the WWE event last night. He the night before was at the Bellator show in South Dakota or whatever when my boy Shaq won his fight.
Yeah.
Dana, it was either Dana had tweeted to him or all this stuff, or he had tweeted to Dana like, hey, what's up? Like, there's been all this talk about him maybe coming. So I'm there and I'm like, so here's why you need to come to the UFC. You know what I mean? He knows DC already and this and that. But anyway, like, that's pretty cool because I actually, years ago, if people happen to be watching this on my YouTube channel, they should look and see. Years ago, I interviewed Jordan Burroughs, too, another gold medalist, and, talking to him about if he was ever thinking of coming to MMA. But it's amazing because everybody's looking at Gable now, and they're looking at him thinking he could be kind of like the next Brock Lesnar type thing, where if he goes to WWE instead, he could just become this incredible superstar and then come over to MMA or something like that. But look, I don't begrudge the guy if he would probably, of course, make more money over at WWE or something like that. But it is pretty cool, like we said, Marco Madsen, silver medalist. He's a 3-time Olympian, but he did get the silver medal. And it's just kind of cool when you have somebody with that kind of credentials crossing over into MMA. I think it's pretty cool.
That's dope. That's really cool. My roommate, Victoria, what is her last name? Victoria Vortex. She's an Olympian too, and she's making the crossover in wrestling. Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, and she's making a crossover to MMA, so I'm excited about that for her. What is her last name though? Because I just follow these people on Instagram. I never actually watched the Olympics. Oh, but I feel like most people do that. Right? They're like, tell me what happened, Wait, let me see. Victoria Anthony. Yeah, she's an Olympian. She's been doing it all her life and been like dropping a little good nuggets for me as well. But she's making a transition to MMA at the moment, so I'm excited to see what happens with her. And she's like an atomweight. She's like a natural atomweight. Right. So if they ever bring atomweight into the UFC, you're gonna have a lot of eager ladies coming after it. Yeah. I have a few atomweight friends who are just like waiting for the opportunity, and that would be great. But yeah, that's really awesome. So Gable, is he named after the Gable group?
I'm sure. I mean, how could he not be?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's coincidence.
No, he is. He is.
Have you ever met a Gracie that wasn't a BJJ practitioner?
No. Exactly. But no, he is, because that was the whole thing. I remember watching the Olympics and I remember them talking about it, that he is named after. It is.
Wow.
I think he was born to wrestle.
Yeah. He was born to wrestle. That's really cool.
Okay, but you made me think of something because you just said eager. You were talking about atom weights and you said eager something, and of course eager makes me think of Eager Beaver. And then when I think of Eager Beaver and I think of atom weights, I think of OnlyFans. And
I feel like you made me like I'm really lucky that I haven't been drinking while you've been saying these random ridiculous things. Would have been all over the camera.
The funny thing is, I don't know what it is. I'm in a mood. Like, I'm literally just so happy looking and seeing like how much better this looks.
It looks really nice.
Like,
me too.
I'm just like,
I'm messing up happy. Facial hair. I'm like,
I know. I'm just like happy
drinking my drinks too fast. Yeah, it looks great.
I'm just excited.
Yeah. You know what else? We had like a slight delay on the Skype video, so I feel like we're not on a long distance call.
No, I know. Hello, Marcus.
Like, what happened? What happened? What
happened with? So folks, if we're gonna, like we said, hopefully we'll be able to bring some people in. And actually, one thing I want you to think about, Ange, is our buddy Uriah Hall would love to do some. Oh, I know, right? Hey. I have a few gentlemen friends that would love to see a Uriah Hall OnlyFans. Believe you me.
How you doing?
Yeah, how you doing, right? And so, but I was thinking about it. I was like, we should get Uriah on to do something with us, and like he would give us like the guy's view on something. Like, so maybe we want to get a segment where we think of like we have something, and he has to represent for the men, but you and I get to, like I mean, I think that could be kind of fun. So
yeah, girls versus boys, like Yeah, give us your answers or give us your questions, and we'll get the girls to answer and the boys to answer.
Exactly. So I think that's something we could do with him, which could be really kind of fun.
That'd be fun. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, okay. So one thing I wanted to ask you about, and this was something that we at work, like I said, I was with Bilal and Alan. So in the featured prelim, it was Austin Lingo and Luis Saldana, and Saldana was doing really well and everything, and he was looking flashy and he was looking good, and then it ends up kind of gassing out and doesn't win the fight, and we were kind of bugging out because it seemed like he could have won the fight at different times if he had just thrown basics, 1-2s, a few real basic combinations, but instead you could tell that he was looking for a highlight knockout. And now this is after Bahamondes landed that wheel kick, which is the 10th wheel kick in UFC history. I have an after the facts video.
That was so cool.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah,
but then there was also William Knight's knockout. And so you just kind of
Mm-hmm.
got the feeling that he was searching for something flashy. And I think that his search for that and his ego got in the way of him picking up the win. What do you think of that?
It's hard to say because who's to say that wasn't his game plan from the get-go to throw some flashy stuff. Like maybe that's all he likes to throw, inspiring. Like maybe that's his go-to is the flashy stuff. And you get a lot of people like that who just like throw. I mean, not to be whatever countryist, but the Brazilians had that reputation for a long time, right? Where they would just put everything into the first round and then gas hard in the second and third. And if you didn't get the knockout in the first, then the second and third were like really long fights for those athletes because they just blew their load. So it's hard to say. Like you never OnlyFans, yeah. So it's hard to say. You never know what's going through the athlete's mind. I do think that seeing knockouts on the card before your fight, they do affect like your game plan. You're like, ooh, I could do that. Ooh, I could do that. That's my go-to kick. Maybe I can land that on the guy. But if I don't know, it's hard. Like I don't know, it's hard to like. I know people who can throw a wheel kick and they can't throw a jab. Like it's sometimes it's not your bread and butter, so you don't go to the easiest form of the easiest way to victory. So I hate to just bash the fighter and just be like, hey, you're being too flashy and you shouldn't have done that. But who's the guy? Pereira.
Yeah, and because
he's a good example of what you're talking about. Like, he has the flashy stuff. It's great for highlight reels, but he can't do it nonstop. He has to like do something flashy, take a few minutes, do something flashy, rest in between rounds, and then maybe he could open up with something flashy again, and then that's a better way to just manage your energy than just going boom, boom, spin, jump, takedown, elbow. Like it's a hard way to fight. It really is.
Right. Okay, so the other thing I want to ask you about, a couple things. The Pantoja Royval fight was really good. I mean, I was hoping it was going to last longer because I like them so much, and I was really because we were all kind of like, this is going to be fight of the night, and both of them are so good, and I kind of wanted to see more because I knew it was going to be so entertaining. But Pantoja, he's already got 2 wins over Brandon Moreno because they fought on the Ultimate Fighter, and then they also fought after. So he has a win and a decision win over Brendan. Brendan was working the fight, and they had a cute little moment, and Pantoja had a real polite call out and stuff, and he kind of. Of course, he's got to have it because it can't be Davison again, and Pantoja was number 3 going into this fight.
Yeah, no, I think that's such a great story to build on a title fight, and Moreno is just one of those people. He's like kind of like Royval, he's like that underdog that you always want to root for because they came in with I guess just like a bunch stacked against them, and he still managed to make a way and have success when he didn't have success immediately. So it's just like that hard worker mentality, you know, like he was able to work his way out of that hole and become a better fighter and learn from his mistakes, and now he's champion. So I think that would be an excellent fight. I'm curious to see what happens in there. Does he get a little nervous because the guy's already beat him twice, or is he able to use all those skills that he's gained and just smash him, blow him out the water, and show that he's a much better fighter than he was when he was beaten all those fights ago? So it's a really compelling story, and I would love to see that. So I feel like the best story one for sure. But like Royval, like I always root for him ever since he popped up on the scene. I think it was like last year he popped up on the scene, and then he just busts his way into the top 5, and I'm like, wow, like he's just really exciting fighter. So he takes a lot of risk, and that's one thing that stops a lot of good fighters from being great, is just their fear of taking risk. And I feel like he doesn't have that. Like he's never had that. And hopefully he still doesn't have it even after, you know, a couple of high-level losses. Like, he shouldn't have that. Like, those are really good guys that he lost to, him and Moreno. And, I just want to see him fight. Like, I want to see him fight like every other card, you know? It's a really fun guy to watch.
I agree. Well, I met Brandon over on Fight Island, and I met him at the pool, and it was after his fight or whatever and stuff. And you know that pool party. It was actually where you shot that slow-mo video of me, which makes me laugh still.
Yes, I love it. Baywatch Karyn.
It's funny. We need to reshoot it though, because I'm a little more toned now.
On the jump rope. Well, you need to come down to San Diego. We can find a nice little beach to do that.
But so I met Brandon over there, and we were laughing because he, is from Colorado, and we were joking about Casa Bonita, which is on South Park. And if people remember the episode where Cartman wants to get invited to the birthday party where they go to Casa Bonita, and it's the crappy Mexican restaurant. Anyway, I've been to Casa Bonita. It's disgusting. I think it's dump. It smells like mold, but anyway, it is kind of funny that it's this whole thing. So anyway, Brandon and I were talking about Casa Bonita when we met. For some reason it came up, and it just became like this kind of joke thing between us. So anyway, then the other day I see the news that Matt Parker and Trey, they're going to, the creators of South Park, are actually going to buy Casa Bonita because it's on the historical thing or whatever. Anyway, so I was literally going to send Brandon this story, and then there's like a little message in my phone, and it's like Brandon Royval, and it's Brandon Royval like sends me this story about Casa Bonita. I'm like, dude, I was like just gonna send you that story. So,
dude, I didn't know it was a real place.
Oh no, it's a real place.
That's
it's a real place.
Crazy.
So anybody who's watching or listening, if you've been to Casa Bonita, please definitely leave a comment about it, because I think the place is a dump, and I thought the food, it's like disgusting cafeteria Mexican food. It's not Mexican food. It's disgusting.
Taco Bell with a playground.
Exactly. The one thing is like, I guess the sopapillas were maybe okay, but so that's like dough and sugar and stuff, like, and honey, like, that's not that hard to do. But there's what, Black Bart's Cave or something, like, it's just disgusting. It's disgusting. And people diving, and you're like, I don't want the mold and the listeria in my food, or like Legionnaires. It's just gross.
Now I'm thinking about mold after Madsen's story. Like, that's horrible. But I would definitely go to Casa Bonita. I love dives. I love anything, like any tourist traps. Like, I love shit like that. Like, there was this weird like dino park on the way to driving to San Diego, because me and my husband, we drove here when we first moved out here, and we stopped at every tourist trap we could. And if I knew that Casa Bonita was a real place, I would definitely have gone there. I would have gone like 2 days out of my way to go to Casa Bonita. That's amazing. I'm so jealous.
Yeah.
I hope it's open. It's open, and they just bought it, or was it about to go out of business? Like, I guess Toys R Us or something.
Yeah, I think it was. I think it was in danger for a while because it's
Okay.
closed. And then I think maybe it was closed because of COVID or whatever. And I can't imagine like COVID and Casa Bonita at the same time.
God.
It's so epically disgusting.
Yeah.
And so, but anyway, so I just know that I think they were, like chapter 11 or whatever. I think they were going up a belly up. And so at first there was like I don't know, there was a Kickstarter or there was something, and it was like a joke that they were going to buy it. But then they ended up they're going to buy it.
Yeah,
like,
why
so,
not?
That's
great.
I mean, that's the thing. They could really save it and make it better. Like if I understand, like the concept of it is sort of fun and cute. If you could do it cleanly, you know what I mean, with some, with some OSHA oversight and some like health code, is getting up to par on that. But so Brandon Royval, to wrap that part of it up, is a good kid, and I like that kid. And so he's just a kid now that I root for. And it's funny because I was having this conversation with the ref. We were talking about, like, it sort of seems like it goes in waves, right? Like up and down. And you can see, I feel like right now there's a lot of young talent that we should keep our eyes on. And like, it's just kind of fun right now to see, like on the cards, like for example from last night, where you don't really know something, and then a Baja Mondays throws that kick or something, or you know what I mean. You get something, you get something great from somebody you didn't expect, and it's just been it's just cool to see these cards where you can tell, like, I'm looking at a future star here.
Mm-hmm. Or a strawweight fights at bantamweight and knocks that girl out who's like 2 feet taller than her. Dude, I saw her in person. I think I was cornering Jessica Penne, and we saw her in the hallway.
Josiane Nunes?
Yes, Nunes. And Josiane Nunes. Her nickname is Josie.
Yeah.
It's cute. So funny. It's so cute. But we saw her in the hallway, and I was like, oh, this is a new strawweight. And I'm like, wait, what? She was fighting at bantamweight. Like, I looked it up, and I was like, what is wrong with her? Like, she literally was my size. She's shorter than me. She's not thick at all. Like, I feel like she just doesn't cut weight. Like, if I have a few fat days, I can walk around at 135 if I like eat pizza all week. So I feel like that's what she does. She just eats pizza all week and shows up at weight and fights. Like, she's not a thick girl at all. So that was pretty impressive, because I was just like, dude, this girl is so undersized. Like, maybe whoever she was fighting outside of the UFC didn't give her any trouble, but this is going to be a challenge for her to fight these giants at 135 when she's literally taking up the same space as I would in a box. And she demolished that girl. So I was very impressed, and I'm excited to see her next fight. But yeah, there were a lot of fun fights on the undercard. William Knight is one of those people that I'm always excited to watch. I first found out about him at Abu Dhabi as well. I watched some of his fights. He had like a developmental contract, right?
Right.
Where he had like a bunch of, so I watched his fights.
Yep.
Yeah, and dude, he is a monster. Like, the things that he's doing in the UFC, it's always nice when you can see someone take what they did on the regional scene and still do it in the UFC. So that guy is crazy. And you can critique him pulling his chin back and all you want, but when he's knocking people out, no one's gonna give him anything. It kind of reminds me of an early a non-blonde Brunson.
Right.
But that guy can move, so he's always entertaining to watch.
Yeah, for sure. He's yoked. Isn't that where DC was joking? He's like, it's like looking in a mirror or whatever.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. It's like, okay, DC.
I love that.
Cool. It's cool. You can make fun of yourself like that. That's cool. Yeah, you got some humor.
He cracks me up. Yeah, with Josiane, to your point, it's kind of like how Jessica Andrade used to fight at bantamweight, and she's just so tiny, but before the other options weren't there, and so then she was able to go down in weight, and then she was able to go back up in weight and split the difference and find success there. But yeah, so I agree. For Josiane, she was supposed to fight before she was supposed to debut, and that's the one where her opponent came in 8 pounds overweight or something, or 11 pounds overweight. It was insane, just totally insane. So she didn't get to do it. We were kind of freaking out because she was fighting Bea Malecki, who literally had a I think it was a 6-inch reach advantage and a 7-inch height advantage, or vice versa. But either way, all the tools, and like I was kind of freaking out because all you needed, I mean, I say all you needed to do, but I feel like
so easy. So easy.
Jabs and like front kicks and push kicks, and you would have just been able to keep Nunes away for quite some time. Like, with that much height and reach advantage, I feel like all day long Bea should have been the one dictating the range of the fight, and yet Nunes was the one who just found her way in there, and Bea was sort of like turning away from the fight a lot, and didn't want to engage. And I understand too that like Nunes didn't really kind of let her catch her breath. There was a lot of activity from her, which was a good strategy, but I just was very frustrated when I saw somebody with the natural gift of that height and reach not taking advantage of those gifts.
Well, a lot of times when you're that tall and you have that height and reach advantage, you're not used to people getting in on you. So you don't have that backup plan. You're not able to deal with the pressure when you're used to keeping people away, you know? So maybe she hasn't had that yet. She hasn't had like someone go pit bull on her and just come in with overhands, like, oh. I mean, that's what I always do against taller people when I'm sparring at the gym. You like come in tight guard, and then you start throwing hooks and overhands to get over their shoulder. And it's funny because a lot of times you'll surprise someone who's so much taller than you because they don't think that your arms are going to be able to reach them. They feel like they can lean out of the way, or they can post, or they can do whatever to keep you away and keep you from like touching their chin. But if you're able to move and kind of work your way in and then start throwing hooks and, you know, just not give them space to back up, not give them space to keep you at bay, then that's the short person strategy. And she used that to a T. And I think she just like, you know, she had a little more experience. And you could tell once she started landing that, you know, the taller girl just didn't have a backup plan. And it's a lot of times you see that. I used to call it like the daddy long legs, daddy long legs effect. It's like,
what are you talking about?
It's just when someone's really lanky and tall, they're really lanky and tall, but once you get past the arms, they're just like this little circle. Like they're just like this little body with no defense. Like if you get past the arms, they have nothing for you. So it's like a daddy, you know what a daddy long legs is, right?
Of course.
Okay. It's those stupid long ass
spider. Exactly.
Yeah, and they have this little body in the middle.
Right.
And it's like if you chop their legs off, then they have no way of doing anything. And that's what happens with a lot of, like, especially, like, she's really tall. She's not just tall for a bantamweight. She's really tall. She was like, her head was like a foot over the cage.
Yeah,
you know,
no,
like
she's tall. She's tall. No, Bea's 5'9", because I'm 5'8". She's even taller than me. Yeah, she's 5'9".
Yeah,
and she had like
bantamweight.
She had, I want to say, a 73-inch reach, whereas I think Nunes had a 68.
Yeah.
If I remember my numbers correctly, I could grab my paperwork over there. But that's pretty much what I remember. I have a pretty darn good memory. Double major from Brown. But anyway, but I think that was it. So I just got to every now and then flex a little.
Yeah. Good Karyn. Good.
Karyn's got to look at the brain on Bryant.
Brain power.
Brain power. Word.
Oh man, yeah. So that's what I call it, the daddy long legs effect. When you get past the arms and they have nothing for you because they're so used to being able to keep you at bay.
Nice.
So,
hey, I'm laughing because I'm just thinking of your video that you put out with your new kick pad where you tagged Adam. It's really funny.
Yeah, he deserved it.
Was he acting a fool?
He was acting like I have no power on my leg kicks, and I know I do because I kick him without a leg kick pad all the time, and he reacts like a motherfucker. But yeah, it's a really good leg kick pad at Hayabusa. Check it out. If you have like a heavyweight that you have to hold leg kicks for, that's a really
Right.
good pad because like Adam kicked me, he has way harder kicks than me, and I didn't feel anything. So it's a good kick pad. So the whole thing was, I was like, hey, look at my new kick pad, and I'm kicking him, and he's like, come on, give me something with feeling, and then I kicked him, or thought about kicking him in the head, and then I decided not to because I love him.
Oh, but yeah, no, it's funny. Oh, it's funny. It's funny. Well, hey, listen. So this coming weekend, we have more fights. So it's the Giga Chikadze versus Edson Barboza,
Ooh.
which is like, we're going to see some spinning stuff.
Yes.
Which is going to be absolutely incredible. I'm so excited about it. And the funny thing is, like, I remember months ago, like, I tweeted about that fight as a dream fight of one of those, like, doodle doodle Wayne's World. Like, wouldn't it be amazing one day to have these? Exactly. Like,
it's the background, Karyn. It's the background. I'm hyped. You did a good job.
I'm hyped too. I feel good about it. I'm hyped.
Yeah.
But
so you called it.
Yeah. So I was so
fight.
excited. So I'm excited to be working that one, but we're also going to have the Ultimate Fighter finale. And so I don't know if you've been watching the Ultimate Fighter. If I'm honest, I hadn't been, but I had to catch up on some. I had seen some, but I hadn't seen all of them. So I caught up on all of them because I talked to the champ on Friday, Volkanovski, and I think they're going to put the whole interview out on YouTube as well. So that would probably, be on like the UFC channel, I think, on YouTube.
Nice.
Yeah, which would be nice if they do that, because part of it will air next weekend, and I guess we're doing like an hour-long UFC live next week, which will be good.
Nice.
And it'll be me and Alan and Dean. Which would be funny. Yeah, I know, I love. But so anyway, my point is that look for the interview with Alex. What a nice guy. I hadn't really spoken to him ever before, but he's so nice, and he's got a nice, sense of humor, and just talked about the Ultimate Fighter if people want to know. But here's the thing, Ange. When you guys were on the show, I still feel like you guys were real, because even though the show had been on a lot, it was a lot of real emotion. It's almost like the kids know now what a great opportunity it is, and you get less of those like truthful moments and more of like, bro, I respect you too, bro. Nothing personal. We're just gonna have a great fight. Okay, yeah, I agree. Like, I don't know how people feel about it. I'd love to know their opinions, because it does miss some of the heat that it used to have.
Well, how many is it? Like an international show? Like they have the New Zealand guys and like the American guys, or something?
There's a bantamweight class and a middleweight class.
Okay, so it has nothing to do with countries. Like it's
nothing to do
all
with countries.
Like,
it's just that it's featherweights, coach. It's just that Bryant and Alex are going to fight next month at 266. But so yeah, it's not a countries thing. It's not like a tough smashes type thing. It's just that they have bantamweights and middleweights.
Yeah, I totally watched it. I'm just, I just want to know if you watched it. Yeah. Don't. Karyn, I'm sorry. I should have waited until you finish drinking.
Spit take.
The only reason
we're lit with these graphics, yo.
Okay, yeah. No, I feel like the coaches really set the tone for the show. So with our show, we had Gilbert Melendez and Anthony Pettis, and like they weren't like disrespectful to each other, but they didn't like each other. And I feel like with Volkanovski and Brian Ortega, they're kind of like, hey buddy, we're about to make a lot of money. This is cool. Like
it did heat up some though. They got a little more testy as it goes along.
Oh, okay. All right. So that's interesting at least. But I feel like from the get-go, because Gilbert is scrap pack, Pettis is from the hood too, like they like from the get-go they're like, all right, like I got to be in the same room with you, but I don't like you, you know. So I felt like we kind of fed off of that energy, and we weren't afraid to dislike our opponents. But when you have coaches that are so like bro-ish and chill, then you kind of don't want to be the asshole of the group. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to be the one person who's not being sportsmanly. Right. So maybe that has something to do with it, because I feel like the seasons afterwards, there was still that animosity towards opposite teams. Like I think, like afterwards, there was like the Connor and the who was it? Connor and Uriah. Connor and Uriah. There was that season, and like everyone was like saying weird things, like wear your good underwear or something. What did that guy say?
Well, that's when there was. When he called TJ the snake in the grass. That's where the whole snake in the grass with TJ came from.
Yeah. So I think the coaches really set the tone, and I think Volkanovski is such a nice. But I think if Ortega was on there with a different person, Ortega would have let his hair down.
But the hood, you're right, because I think the hood could have come out definitely more. 100% agree with you on that, because Volkanovski, like they like I said, I agree with you that they both started out just very much like, cool, we're coaching, and
just a lot of respect,
right, respect. And so, but then at the beginning, Volkanovski's team won the first 4 fights. Bryant's team won the first 4 fights.
Oh, okay.
So he starts to get, kind of cocky about it. But then Volk's team comes back, and then like they take over, but so Brian was feeling it, and then like Brian had a couple of good pranks and stuff. Nice. Brian definitely had better pranks, but it started to get to the point where they did get under each other's skin a little bit. So Alex was saying like he is definitely looking forward to being able to punch Brian. But I agree that because I've known Gilbert, for a really long time. Anthony is such a great guy too. But you're right. You put those two guys kind of together a little more, because Anthony, I remember Gilbert was just like, you just lock a couple of Mexicans in a cage. You know what I mean? And I know Anthony's also like Mexican and Puerto Rican or whatever, right? But he's just like, basically you can't put 2 hot-blooded Latin guys in a cage and not think that we're gonna freaking scrap, you know what I mean? And same thing like when Gilbert, actually it was when Gilbert was fighting Diego Sanchez that he said about the 2 Mexicans, but it's the same sentiment, right? You knew that was gonna pop off more. But the funny thing is, my daughter the other day, I was telling her, I said something, and like for some reason I said something like, just let me bang, bro, or and she's like, what? And it was like her bestie was in the car with her, so I introduced to my 15-year-old, let me bang, bro. And so I showed her.
Excellent parenting.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Excellent.
I think that right. And this is my thing. I think people need to show them, because they were dying laughing. I showed them the whole thing, and where like Julian was explaining it and everything, and showed them the clip. They were howling laughing. They thought it was so funny. But like, let me bang, bro is epic, and I think that people need to recognize some of these classic moments in MMA and really make sure that people are like up to speed on stuff. So
for sure, they're iconic. They made the sport. I always kick doors open or elbow doors down. Like I'm like, Rampage. Like, this is a thing. This is MMA.
Right. There are some. Yeah, I was gonna say from TUF there are some like amazing moments.
Yeah, there's the best moments, really. And it's not the same as it used to be. It definitely isn't.
No.
Even when our season aired, it definitely wasn't the same. But times change, people change, sports change, so we just have to admire those times, like the UFC like 1 through 50s and the TUF 1 through 10s, and admire those and move on. It's never forget.
It's a good thing that people are aware of the magnitude of the opportunity. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. Like, I want them to understand it's a massive opportunity and take advantage of it. But at the same token, it's like with them knowing that, it means like there, fewer instances of people being poorly behaved. You know what I mean? And so you don't get as many of those interesting moments because people are too respectful of each other. Yeah,
For sure, for sure. Yeah, it sucks. Like, nobody wants to be known as, like, the person who did a thing on TUF, you know, so they don't want to be known as, like, the let me bang bro guy, or, like, I don't know.
So good.
The guy who peed on the sushi or whatever it was.
Right. But it was so funny because, like, they were so confused because they were like, but let me bang bro sounds really homoerotic. I'm like, oh yeah, no, I know. Yeah, it's super homoerotic. 100%.
It does,
100%.
and like the whole situation also.
Whole situation is
homoerotic.
And so they were just like, yeah, okay,
fight.
right. But the funny thing is like there's so much kids these days. But they're so much cooler. And so, like, that kind of stuff, like, the gay vibe, like, that's not even the thing. Like, they just acknowledge it, and they're like, okay, yeah, there's these great gay undertones. Okay, next. And there's this whole thing. And I was just like, I just thought it was so funny that they were able to dissect the whole thing and tear it down. But then they also were just howling laughing at the line, let me bang, bro, and just how brilliant it is. Because that's freaking
so crazy
gold.
To me. That's so crazy to me that 15-year-olds don't know that. I used to, when I was teaching Muay Thai, like back in the day, I used to tell them, hey, it's just like that scene in 300 when I would teach the teep. And I'm like, it's like that scene in 300. That's a Sparta. And I'd do a teep, and they'd look at me like confused, like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, oh my God, you don't know what 300? How old am I? So that's like another one of those moments where I'm just like, I'm so there are children that don't know what that is. They don't know let me bang bro. That's crazy. But hey, it's like MMA is timeless.
Right. But also they're not
Gen
huge
Z
MMA
will love.
fans.
Yeah.
Right, they're not big MMA fans, so I'll give her a pass on that. But yeah, but this is Sparta. People need to know that. But yeah, you're right. There was something the other day that I referenced, and I was like, oh no, that's not good. Hey, okay. Oh shoot, did we go over? Crap. We might have gone over.
Yeah, we went over. No.
Oh no, I didn't think we did, but
let's
now
cut it
I think
now.
we're right here. Okay, yeah. So anyway,
file
folks,
size would be okay, but time we got cut now.
yeah, okay, we're gonna wrap that up. Anyway, some of that we could cut out anyway. But okay, hey Angie, where can people find you?
You can find me right there, like because Karyn did such a good job at my Twitter and IG at Angie Overkill, and my Twitch at Angie Overkill. Even though I'm not really on it anymore, but you can also check me out on Overkill Hill at TikTok. And
okay, that's the one. Maybe I can switch it to that next time on TikTok.
Yeah, but
I knew there was just another one that I was supposed to put up.
I kind of need to get back on there, so I'm happy that it's there.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Well, yes, you can see I'm Karyn Bryant on Twitter, KB Heat over on Instagram. Thanks so much for checking this out. We're also available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. So yeah, what happened was thanks for checking it out.
Yeah.